Okay, so we're back. I've lost the hat for a little bit so that I can cool down slightly and there's not so much sparkle. I sparkle enough as it is. I don't need any more hat sparkling. Okay, so for those of you that might remember, in part 1 we had speech loss, potential stroke, and memory loss, and seizures. 4 things. Interesting. So we go back slightly. If you remember when we were talking about the school dropping off and all of that kind of stuff, I mentioned that I was getting breathless. Yeah, walking up that crazy hill, I was getting breathless. I get to the top of the hill and I just couldn't breathe. And I thought, is it asthma? Is it the medication? No. So, and then I was getting palpitations as well. So I went to my GP and she sent me for some tests. She sent me for some tests with a cardiologist. That's a heart person, if you guys don't know. Sorry for all the flashing lights. I'm in a place where there's lots of cars going by and all sorts of things. And so, yes, I went to the cardiologist, and on the 26th of March 2012, I was called into the doctor's surgery, and I thought, hey, up, something's up, what's going on now? Now, in between this time, still not feeling particularly well, lots of different things going on, and just can't really make out, you know, what this is all about. And my doctor sits me down and she said, oh, you know, how are your palpitations now? Are you still breathless and so on? I said, yes. And then by this time, my feet were swelling quite badly. My feet particularly, but also, yeah, just mainly my feet, to be honest. And she says, yeah, I'm afraid to tell you that it looks as if you've got heart failure. Excuse me. Now, when you go into your doctor's surgery, and if you don't know anything really about the heart, then you're going to panic. Heart failure, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm going to die? Does that mean that my children are not going to have their mum? What does it mean? She said that your heart is not functioning the way it should do. You have some issues which they called systolic and diastolic dysfunction. Okay, right, so what are we going to do about this then? Now, I had from birth what they call a mitral valve prolapse, which means, you know, knowing what I know now, because I think I know enough now to become a doctor really. You have obviously various valves in the heart, tricuspid, mitral, and about 4 others. And the mitral valve is one of the popular ones really that tends not to work properly, and it can also give you a heart murmur, which I have. And, you know, really they say it's not really a big thing. They say that people, you know, people live with it, people survive with it. You get chest pain every now and again. And before, when you used to go to the doctors, you would need to be covered by antibiotics. Then they changed that. You know, I think they call it NICE or NIECC or whatever it is, but it's like a medical body. They changed that and they said, no, you don't need to have that anymore. The jury's out. The jury's out. You know, I think there's been a couple of deaths where people have died as a result sorry about that, as a result of not having antibiotics. So the jury's still out on that one. So I had, as a pre-existing condition, a mitral valve prolapse and a heart murmur. Again, you know, no big deal. I could deal with it. It's not an issue. But now I've got heart failure. Great. So I say to her, what do we do? What happened? She said, right, I'm going to send you to the cardiology team at the local hospital, and they will work out what they're going to do with you. So I go to the cardiology team, and then before this happens, I then start getting very, very, very bad palpitations, and was admitted a number of times. The ambulance came, was admitted, and was put on heart monitor, and they could see that my blood pressure was very, very high. So now what are we clocking up now? So now we've got a mitral valve prolapse, we have a epilepsy, we have a heart murmur, we have seizures, part of the epilepsy, and the list is now building. Right, okay. So whilst I'm in hospital having been monitored for these palpitations, in fact at one point they thought it was a heart attack, whilst I would be monitored for these, I have some blood tests done where they noticed that my kidneys are not functioning properly. So I'm now being referred to a nephrologist who is a kidney specialist. So we're building a pattern here. Quite a number of things are beginning to happen. Yeah. So from the initial speech, memory, seizures, heart failure, and now kidney problems. Urinary tract infections, heart problems. So I then meet a fantastic nephrologist, an absolutely fantastic nephrologist. I'm going to say his name, Dr. Soper. I don't care, because he was brilliant. And he started to believe that I had something systemic. Systemic meaning that maybe something was attacking my body and that kind of thing. And he did some urine tests, and it kind of indicated that something of the like was happening. He then stated I had something called Raynaud's, because when he asked me about like my hands and stuff, my hands go purple under cold water, and in the winter particularly bad, you know, all the way from up here, my fingers go purple. And he said, you know, you've got Raynaud's as well. I also forgot something, actually. I have something called von Willebrand's. Von Willebrand's is a blood disorder. So when I put this video on, I'm going to have so many hashtags attached to this, it's going to be a joke. But I want you to stay with me, because the reason I want you to stay with me is that from the inception of my illness, I always knew that something was wrong with me. I always knew. I always knew that I wasn't making it up. I wasn't going mad. And unfortunately, friends and family perhaps thought I was. So I'm going to leave it there for now, but I will come back with the rest of my journey. Thank you for listening. Subscribe below. Hashtag my journey, and I'll come back to you a bit later.